Today, let's do a ratio of your pediatric nursing concepts. Number 1. While analyzing lab results of Klee, a child diagnosed with hemophilia, Nurse Jean notes that which lab value is most likely to be abnormal. So we're looking for the abnormal laboratory value for hemophilia. Platelet count ba? Hematocrit, hemoglobin, or partial thromboplastin time? Guys, please remember, kapag hemophilia yan, the one that will be abnormal is no other than delta, your partial thromboplastin time. Everything else, platelet, hematocrit, and hemoglobin, they will be normal. Why? Because the problem in hemophilia, if it's hemophilia A, what you lack is factor number 8. So, para bang A sounds like 8. Okay? Pag hemophilia B naman, what you lack is factor number 9. And guys, these factors, 8 and 9, they are responsible for the clotting time of your blood. Okay? So, what will be abnormal? The partial thromboplastin time, which is the lab value that will indicate your ability to clot. Okay? So, if ang partial thromboplastin time mo increases, this means that it will take you a longer time to clot an injury. It takes you a longer time to clot an injury, which is characteristic of your hemophilia. Next, number 2. Eula is teaching home care to the parents of Bennett, a 10-year-old boy with hemophilia. Which sport would Eula suggest as safest for him? A. Soccer. B. Basketball. C. Swimming. D. Field hockey. So, if you have a child with hemophilia, the safest activity or sports would be swimming, guys. Okay? And why is that? Kasi pag nagsuswim ka, buoyant ka ba sa water? Do you just float on the water? Your body feels lighter on the water? Yes. Okay? But soccer, basketball, and field hockey, they are unsafe for a patient with hemophilia kasi these are contact sports. Tama? Pag nagsasoccer, nagsisipaan ng bola, pwedeng masipaan ang mga paa. Correct? Pag nag-basketball, pwedeng mag-foul play, okay? Magbanggaan ng mga katawan, matumba, madulas, okay? Tama. Pag field hockey naman, the same thing, no? So, they are all contact sports. And in hemophilia, since this is a blood disease, wherein the patient lacks factor 8 for hemophilia A or factor 9 for hemophilia B, they cannot clot an injury. Kaya, it becomes a bleeding disorder. Okay? That's why the best answer and the safest would be swimming. Ma'am, paano pag nauntok yung ulo niya sa swimming pool? Unsafe na yon. Pwede siyang magkaroon ng bleeding disorder pa rin. Yes, you're correct, but among the following, it's swimming that is non-contact. Tama? Hindi ka naman nakikipagsuntukan sa swimming pool. Hindi ka naman nakikipaghabulan ng bola sa swimming pool. Number 3, Kiki, a child with beta thalassemia, is receiving long-term blood transfusions. Chelation therapy is started due to iron overload. Which drug does Nurse Baiju anticipate will be prescribed? A. Dalteparin, B. Meropenem, C. Metoprolol, or D. Deferoxamine. Yan guys, pag nakita mo ang word na chelation therapy, it means we want to reduce a specific metal in the body of the patient. In this case, sinabi dito, merong iron overload ang pasyente mong may beta thalassemia. Okay? The best answer for this question is no other than your deferoxamine. That's your chelation agent for iron toxicity. This one will reverse iron toxicity in the body of a patient with beta thalassemia. Now I know what you have in mind. Ma'am, why is it a patient with beta thalassemia experiences iron overload? The answer is simple. Kapag may beta thalassemia ka guys, just imagine you have an immature red blood cell. And when the red blood cell is immature, it cannot do its work. Ano ba ang work ng red blood cells? Di magdala ng oxygen para mag-oxygenate ng mga cells ng katawan. Tama? Yes. So, in beta thalassemia, pag immature ang red blood cells, hindi niya kayang gawin yun. The red blood cells in beta thalassemia, they don't stay long in the bloodstreams like a normal and mature red blood cell would do. What happens? Lagi lang silang namamatay. Okay? They die prematurely. So when that happens, the patient will suffer decrease in their hemoglobin, decrease in their red blood cells. Kaya ano ang treatment of choice kapag may beta thalassemia ang pasyente mo? Long-term blood transfusions. A patient with beta thalassemia, lagi-lagi yang magba-blood transfusion para mapalitan yung mga red blood cells na mabilis mamatay at mabilis mawala sa bloodstream. To sustain the life of the patient with beta thalassemia, we do long-term blood transfusions. Okay? Gets? And ano ang consequence ng long-term blood transfusion? So kung bigay ka ng dugo sa batang may beta thalassemia, bigay ka ng red blood cells. Remember, in your red blood cells, is there iron inside that carries oxygen, no? Helps to carry oxygen with your red blood cells. Yes. So what happens? Mas mabilis bang magkaroon ng iron overload ang batang may beta thalassemia kasi may blood transfusion ka as a treatment for them in long term? Yes. Okay? Kaya, in the instance of iron overload, the drug of choice is your deferoxamine. That's your chelating agent for iron toxicity. Again, when you say chelation therapy or chelating agent, ito yung ginagamit natin to decrease a metallic composition in the blood. In this case, ano yung metal na tumaas? Iron. Next, let's do number 4. The parents of Razor, a child with sickle cell anemia, are being educated by Nurse Diona about sickle cell crisis, which identified factor shows the need for further teaching. The word need for further teaching indicates we're looking for the wrong answer. A, is it stress? Is it trauma? Is it infection? Or is it fluid overload? Guys, when you have sickle cell anemia, you are prone to sickle cell crisis. This crisis, it happens in sickle cell anemia na nag-e-exacerbate or lumalala. And the answer here na the patient needs more teaching if they answer fluid overload. Remember the term ICIS. Ito ang nagkukos ng sickle cell crisis sa batang may sickle cell anemia. Ano yan? I for injury. Pag siya ay na-aksidente, na-injure, whatever. Kapag siya ay na-stress, emotional, physical, whatever kind of stress. Kapag siya ay nagkaroon ng infection, nagkaroon ng malalang sakit, infection, bacterial, viral, that can trigger sickle cell crisis. And another one, when the patient undergoes a surgery, that's also gonna trigger sickle cell crisis. And an important additional concept here is that there's an additional dehydration concept. So, kapag nangyari ang ICIS plus dehydration, the patient experiences what? Sickle cell crisis, which is the exacerbation of your sickle cell disease, meaning your patient with sickle cell disease, ang red blood cell niya imbes na bilog, which is a normal red blood cell. During the instance of ICIS plus dehydration, the red blood cell will sickle or undergo a sickling crisis, will turn into this kind of shape, para bang crescent moon. And a crescent moon shaped red blood cell is ugly, immature, cannot do its function to carry oxygenated blood. Okay? That's why it impairs the ability of the patient to give proper oxygenation to the cells or tissues of the body. That's why we also call it as an anemia. Okay? Kaya guys, pag sinabi niyo fluid overload, that's the direct opposite of injury, stress, infection, surgery, plus dehydration. Stress, is it S ng ICIS natin? Yes. Trauma, is that injury from the eye ng ICIS natin? Yes. Infection, is that eye of our ICIS? Yes. That's why the best answer is delta. Next, number 5. Chongyun, a 10-year-old with hemophilia A, slips and injures his knee. Nurse Shangling prepares to administer which prescription? Injection of factor 10, intravenous infusion of iron, intravenous infusion of factor 8, or intramuscular injection of iron using the Z-Track method. O, nasabi ko na kanina, hemophilia A sounds like 8. That's why it's an intravenous infusion of factor number 8. Next, number 6. The parents of Sayu, a child with iron deficiency anemia, are being instructed by Nurse Yeimiko about giving liquid oral iron. What is the correct instruction? A. Administer the iron at meal times. B. Administer the iron through a straw. Or B. Or C. Mix the iron with cereal to administer. Or Delta. Add the iron to formula for easy administration. Guys, the best answer is no other than you have to administer the liquid oral iron via straw. Ano yan? Liquid oral iron. Bakit through a straw? Because a liquid preparation of your iron will stain the enamel of the tooth of the patient. So to avoid staining the enamels, anong gagamitin? Drink through a straw. The rest are wrong. Kasi pag sinabi mong administer the iron, dapat during an empty stomach. Alpha is wrong kasi dapat you should administer it in an empty stomach. A more acidic environment promotes better iron absorption. That's why you can pair it best with vitamin C. Diba? Kasi vitamin C promotes an acidic environment. You don't mix the iron with cereal to administer, and then you don't add the iron to a formula for easy administration because you can drink it through a cup through a straw. Number 7. The nurse reviews assessment notes of baby Nahida with suspected Hirschsprung's disease, which finding most likely prompted her parents to seek care. A. Diarrhea, B. Projectile vomiting, C. Regurgitation of feedings, or D. Foul-smelling ribbon-like stools. And the best answer is no other than foul-smelling ribbon-like stools. Why? Guys, pag sinabi mong Hirschsprung's disease, that's also known as your aganglionic megacolon. Pag sinabi mong aganglionic, from the word itself, absent of what? Ganglionic cells that causes mega or paglaki ng colon mo, kung saan absent ang ganglion cells. Ano ba ang function ng ganglion cells? The function is to produce peristaltic movement in the intestine. At pag sinabi mong peristaltic movement, ito yung paggalaw ng intestine in order to allow the passage of your food or your stool or your fecal matter. In this case, since walang ganglionic cells, ganglionic cells, absent ang ganglionic cells, it therefore causes megacolon. For example, if this is your ascending colon, and then this is your transverse colon, and then magkakaroon ka ng megacolon, and then ang iyong sigmoid colon to the rectum to the anus. Why does that happen? In the area where there is present peristaltic movement, meron ka pang ganglionic cells in this area, kaya niyang ipropel ang fecal matter. But in the area where your ganglion cells are absent, it no longer produces peristaltic movement. Hindi niya nagagalaw ngayon yung fecal matter or yung stool towards the outside of the body. So, anong mangyayari? Megacolon. So, ngayon guys, when you have this, what happens is that in this area, it can only store so much stool. And when it reaches its limits, what happens is that this area will eventually dilate and reaches its maximum point, and then it will push the stool to the area of a ganglionic colon na walang ganglion cells. So, dadaan ang stool sa area na to na medyo narrow. Paglabas ng stool mo, itsura niya, ribbon-like stool. Kaya meron kang foul-smelling ribbon-like stool na characteristic hallmark sign ng Hirschsprung's disease. Kumbaga, pag sinabi mong foul-smelling ribbon-like stool, walang mintis. Hirschsprung's disease yan. Pag sinabi mong diarrhea, masyadong general. It can be associated with different kinds of GI diseases. Pag sinabi mong projectile vomiting, guys, pag pedia ang usapan, I want you to associate this with pyloric stenosis. And pag sinabi mo regurgitation of feedings, it's either you have esophageal atresia or esophageal fistula. Next, number 8. After cleft lip repair on the right side, infant Dory is back in the unit. In which position should Nurse Lila place her? A. Prone, on the stomach, left lateral, or right lateral? And the best answer is no other than left lateral. Nasaan ang surgical site? E di nasa right side ng cleft lip repair mo. So kung nasa right side, you want to avoid applying pressure on the right side of the baby kasi nandyan ang surgical site, nandyan ang suture lines. So you don't want to disrupt the suture lines after the surgery. So anong gagawin mo? Instead of lying the baby on the right side, don't do that because that will apply pressure. Lie the baby on the left side, okay? To relieve the pressure on the surgical site. Next, number 9. The record of baby Mika shows suspected esophageal atresia with tracheoesophageal fistula. Which sign does Nurse Cookie Shinobu expect to find? A. Incessant crying. B. Coughing at nighttime. C. Choking with feedings. Or D. Severe projectile vomiting. Guys, eto lang. Pag nakita mo yung word na atresia, it means atresia absent siya. Okay, absent siya. So, anong absent? Ang esophagus mo, absent ang connection to the lower part of the gastrointestinal tract. So, esophagus lang, tapos hindi na siya connected to the stomach. Absent siya sa part na yon. Pag sinabi mo namang fistula, guys, in whatever concept in your med-surg or your pediatric concept, fistula naman, fistula means fistulay. Tulay. May fistulay ka dyan. So, tracheoesophageal fistula. Sino yung connected? Sino yung may tulay? Tracheo or your trachea, esophageal, esophagus. And yung trachea mo tsaka esophagus connected. Okay? Merong tulay in between them. There is an abnormal connection between the trachea and the esophagus, making your tracheoesophageal fistula. Now guys, the best answer is no other than choking with feedings. Remember, in esophageal fistula and atresia, esophageal atresia, you will have your 3 C's. The first one is your coughing. The next one is choking on feedings. And the next one is cyanosis. Dahil pumupunta yung pagkain or yung milk na iniinom ng baby towards the trachea, which is your windpipe, your airway. So pag napunta doon, nabara, can it cause coughing, choking, and cyanotic signs and symptoms? Yes, kasi airway mo yun. Okay? That's why choking with feedings is the best answer. Number 10. Nurse Kokomi gives feeding advice to Yoimiya, mother of a baby with GERD. Which strategy helps reduce emesis episodes? So pag sinabi mong emesis episodes, yung pagsuka ng bata. Provide less frequent larger feedings, or B. Burp the infant less frequently during feedings, or C. Thin the feedings by adding water to the formula, or D. Thicken the feedings by adding rice cereal to the formula. Okay, pag sinabi mong GERD, that's your gastroesophageal reflux disease. And ang reason kung bakit may GERD ang mga babies, guys, is because mabilis ma-fill yung stomach nila kasi maliit lang ang capacity and madalas napupuno pa yan ng hangin. Okay? When they suck on their mother's nipples, may area for air to enter. Ang best answer is no other than to thicken the feedings by adding rice cereal to the formula. This is what I want you to know. When the intake is thicker, when the fluid is thicker, when the formula is thicker, it promotes better swallowing mechanism to the individual na may GERD, may impaired swallowing. Okay? Kasi mas put together ang isang formula na thick. Okay, mas put together sila, mas mabilis silang lunukin, mas lesser ang risk for aspiration. A thinner fluid will promote risk for aspiration, triggering your emesis. Okay? You should burp the infant more frequently with GERD kasi napupuno yung tiyan ng hangin, which causes the reflux. And you should not provide less frequent feedings and larger feedings, but rather dapat small frequent feedings. 6 small divided feedings throughout the day. Okay? Rather than larger feedings to help reduce the episodes of emesis. Number 11. Nurse Barbara is monitoring Diona, a newborn with suspected imperforate anus. What sign would most likely be present? A. Bile-stained fecal emesis, B. Passage of currant jelly stool, or C. Failure to pass meconium stool in the first 24 hours after birth, or D. Sausage-shaped mass palpated in the upper right abdominal quadrant. And the best answer, pag may imperforate anus, there is a failure to pass meconium in the first 24 hours after birth. Hindi maka-evac yung newborn na may imperforate anus. Pag sinabi mong imperforate anus, guys, walang butas yung puwet niya kung saan dadaloy ang kanyang tae. And sinabi mong meconium stool, yan ang first poop ng baby after birth. Okay? And you expect that within 24 hours after the delivery of the baby. So in the absence of your meconium stool, that means you can consider imperforate anus. Yan yung kanyang hallmark sign. Pag sinabi mong bile-stained fecal emesis, that's not a characterization of your imperforate anus. Pag sinabi mong passage of currant jelly stool, saan mo yan mahahanap? Edi sa intussusception. Telescoping ng iyong large intestine, producing a currant jelly-like stool. Pag sinabi mo namang sausage-shaped mass palpated in the upper right abdominal quadrant, that's a characteristic of your pyloric stenosis. Okay? Next, number 12. Xiangling admits a child diagnosed with pyloric stenosis. What symptom would she expect the parents to report? A. Watery diarrhea. B. Projectile vomiting. C. Increased urine output. Or D. Vomiting large amounts of bile. Ayan na. Guys, kakasabi lang natin kanina, di projectile vomiting. Okay? So when you look at pyloric stenosis, this is your esophagus, this is your stomach. Going here, meron ka ditong pyloric sphincter, the one that divides your stomach from the duodenum, the one that will prevent the backflow of your food from the stomach going to the duodenum. Pag nasa duodenum na siya, it's the pyloric sphincter right here that will prevent the backflow of the food going back to the stomach kung nasa duodenum na siya. So ano yang pyloric stenosis? Nagkaroon ng hardening dyan sa area na yan, nagkaroon ng narrowing sa area na yan of the pyloric sphincter. And eventually, hindi makadaan yung pagkain na kinakain ng baby. Naiipon lang siya sa area na to. Pag yung area na yan na distend at hindi na kayang mag-accommodate pa ng intake, ang mangyayari ay the stomach will push out all the stomach contents in the form of vomiting. And once the stomach will squeeze, it will present as projectile vomiting. Kumbaga, ito yung face ng bata. Pag nag-projectile vomiting siya, yung suka niya pa ganyan. Oh. Okay? Pag ganun, may projectile vomiting. Okay? Pero yung ibang ordinary vomit, di ba, pababa lang. O, diretso sa gravity. Ito projectile vomiting. May puwersa galing sa stomach na sobrang distended na. Okay? Next, number 13. Amber is teaching the parents of a child with celiac disease which food item is safe to include in the child's diet. A. Rice, B. Oatmeal, C. Rye toast, or D. Wheat bread. The best answer is no other than rice. Pwede siyang maging Pinoy at kumain ng rice. In celiac disease, guys, also known as your celiac sprue, bawal sa kanila ang brow. Pag sinabi mong brow, B is for barley, R is for rye. Okay, rye, hindi rice. O is for oats, and W is for wheat. Yan ang bawal sa kanya. So, bawal ba ang oatmeal? Yes. Bawal ba ang rye toast? Yes. Bawal ba ang wheat bread? Yes. It's only rice that they can eat. Can be Pinoy. Okay? Number 14. Sino is caring for a child diagnosed with intussusception. Which sign would most likely be found in the record? A. Watery diarrhea. B. Ribbon-like stools. C. Profuse projectile vomiting. Or D. Bright red blood and mucus in the stool. Ayan, hanapin mo na saan dyan ang currant jelly stool. Tinago siya sa delta. bright red blood and mucus in the stool. That's your currant jelly stool. Bakit may ganyan, guys? In intussusception, there is telescoping of the intestine. So, para bang nagiging ganyan yung intestine mo, okay? Natatelescope siya sa isa't isa. Parang nagkaroon ng inward, okay, na pagpasok or looping ng intestine to one another. And when that happens, imagine mo na lang, pag nagkaroon ng peristaltic movement sa area na yan, pag nag-peristaltic movement sa area na yan, yung area dito na nag-telescope can rub against each other. Okay? And the rubbing against each other can produce trauma, injury to the mucosal wall, which can cause your bleeding episode. So, pag nag-bleed, magkaroon ba ng bright red blood doon sa area na yun? Yes. Can that be mixed with the stool? Yes. And remember, guys, your gastrointestinal tract, yung walls ng mucosa mo, that is lubricated. Okay? Lubricated yan with mucus in order to propel the stool properly and to lubricate the area. And pag may mucus yan, when you mix that with your bright red blood from the injury caused by the telescoping or the rubbing against each other of your intestine, it will produce a currant jelly-like stool or your bright red blood and presence of mucus in the stool, and which is precisely the characterization of your intussusception. Okay? When you say watery diarrhea, very general, can be associated with different kinds of gastrointestinal diarrhea disease. When you say ribbon-like stool, that's your Hirschsprung's disease. Pag sinabi mo projectile vomiting, that's your pyloric stenosis. Okay? So it's important to know these hallmark signs in your pediatric medical surgical concepts kasi it's so easy to pinpoint them out from one another. Number 15, a 10-year-old with asthma named Bennett is in the ER for an acute exacerbation. Which sign would concern Nurse Collet the most? A. Warm, dry skin. B. Decreased wheezing. C. Pulse rate of 90 breaths per minute. Or D. Respirations of 80 breaths per minute. Okay? Guys, the best answer is no other than decreased wheezing. Ma'am, why? Kasi pag sinabi mong decreased wheezing, wheezing is the characterization of asthma. So, pag nag-decrease ang wheezing, it means the asthma is decreasing. Correct, ma'am? You're wrong. Pag sinabi mong acute exacerbation, on your mind, the asthma is in severe attack. So, pag nag-decrease ang wheezing, it may indicate na wala nang lagusan for the air to pass to produce a wheezing sound dahil ang airway ng bata mo sa sobrang maga, sa sobrang inflamed, nag-close na. Okay? Kaya hindi na nakaproduce ng wheezing sound. Kasi remember, your wheezes, your adventitious sound, your breath sounds, they are only produced if yung air kayang dumaan sa airway passages mo. Pag wala na siyang madaan ng airway passages in the presence of an obstruction, in the presence of severe bronchoconstriction, walang mapaproduce na lung sounds like your wheezes. So pag nag-decrease ang wheezing, you have to suspect that maybe the airways of the bata has finally closed. Okay? Masyado nang nag-bronchoconstrict, kaya hindi na nag-produce ng wheezing. That's an ominous sign of a worsening asthma. You have to report that to the physician. That's a medical emergency. Warm, dry skin, wala lang yan. Di yan emergency. Pulse rate of 90, benign lang yan. Normal yan. Respirations of 18, normal lang din yan. Okay? What is scary is the decrease in wheezing. Next, number 16. Beidou is asked by a new parent how to position their newborn for sleep to prevent SIDS or your sudden infant death syndrome. What should she say? Side or prone? Back or prone? Stomach with the face turned? Or back rather than the stomach? Oh guys, alam niyo na to. Pag SIDS, dapat back rather than the stomach. The baby should be in a supine position. Kasi what's the position that will promote SIDS? Sudden infant death happens if the baby is left in a prone position to sleep. Okay? Pag prone, that's the one that can produce your SIDS. Next, number 17. The parent of Sayu who has cystic fibrosis asks Nurse Alhidam about the child's vaccination schedule. What should she say? A. The immunization schedule will need to be altered. B. The child should not receive any hepatitis vaccine. C. The child will receive all the immunizations except for the polio series. Or D. The child will receive the recommended basic series of immunizations along with a yearly influenza vaccination. And the best answer is you are correct. If you answered Delta, ang batang may cystic fibrosis, bakunahan mo yan, especially a yearly influenza vaccination. Why? The problem in cystic fibrosis, guys, is that there is too much thick, tenacious, secretions. Saan? Sa different systems of the body, including your respi, GI, and even your GUT, genitourinary tract. Okay? And pag nurse ka, focus mo ang respi kasi airway, breathing, circulation ang priority sa nursing. So, anong mangyayari sa batang may cystic fibrosis? Pag sobrang thick, tenacious, and sobrang daming secretions niya sa respi tract, sobrang moist ba ng respi tract niya? Yes. Kaya ang presentation ng batang may cystic fibrosis, sobrang putok na putok ang ubo. Okay? So, pag may ganun siya, mas prone ngayon yung batang may cystic fibrosis to respiratory infection. Gawa nga ng sobrang daming mucus, sobrang daming secretion, at sobrang moist ng environment ng kanyang respiratory tract. Okay? Mas mag-thrive talaga doon ang mga bacterial and viral infection. Kaya nga sabi natin, get a yearly shot of your influenza vaccination para ma-lessen naman natin or mabigyan natin ng immunity ang batang may cystic fibrosis against this very common respiratory tract infections. So there's no reason for you to alter the immunization schedule. You may proceed as needed and you don't need to withhold the hepatitis vaccine. For what exactly? And even the polio series, kailangan niya yan. At mas kailangan niya ng additional protection in terms of the bata's respiratory tract. Next, number 18. After cleft lip surgery, which nursing diagnosis does Nurse Yanfei prioritize for baby Lynette? Cleft lip surgery. A. Acute pain. B. Risk for infection. C. Impaired physical mobility. Or D. Impaired parenting. Okay, so ang best answer dito guys is no other than risk for infection. Yan ang pinaka-priority mo sa batang kakatapos lang mag-lip surgery, cleft lip surgery. And that's one of the most common priorities after any kind of surgical procedure. Okay, wala namang na-indicate sa question to whatever kind of specificity, so risk for infection ang ating ipaprioritize as opposed to pain. Kasi meron bang sedation sa batang nag-cleft lip surgery? Yes. Meron din bang pain beds on board? Yes. So you don't need to prioritize that. But risk for infection, because there is an impaired skin integrity sa area ng surgical site, okay, you have to maintain asepsis in order to prevent infection. And impaired physical mobility is not really a priority right now. Kasi bata naman si baby Lizette. Kasi baby pa naman si baby Lynette. And impaired parenting, di naman na-specify sa question. Number 19. Nurse Clee is monitoring an infant with congenital heart disease. What early sign of heart failure should she check for? A. Pallor, B. Cough, C. Tachycardia, or D. Slow and shallow breathing. Ang best answer is no other than tachycardia. Yan ang compensatory mechanism ng katawan ng batang may congenital heart disease of heart failure. So pag sinabi mong heart failure, from the word itself, yung heart nagfe-fail maging puso, maging bomba ng dugo para magkaroon ng circulation ang tissues ng katawan, especially the vital organs. So if the heart is failing to be a pump, ano ang gagawin ng heart mo? The heart will try to compensate by being tachycardic, increasing the heart rate. Kasi isipin ni heart, when I increase my heart rate, kaya kong i-perfuse ang katawan at ang vital organs. Okay? And eventually, guys, pag nag-fail na ang tachycardia, which is a compensatory mechanism for your heart failure, eventually, the patient will experience pallor, poor circulation, mas malamig na ngayon ang extremities niya, cough, kasi mag-backflow yung excess fluid na hindi kayang ibomba ng puso mo to different tissues, to your lungs. Okay? Maipon siya doon, can produce cough. And then later on, slow, shallow breathing na kasi napupuno na ng tubig yung baga galing sa backflow ng blood na hindi kayang ibomba ng pusong may heart failure. Kaya tachycardia ang initial and earliest sign of heart failure. Number 20. Clay's mother asks, what pet is best for a child with asthma? What should Nurse Sarah recommend? A cat, B fish, C gerbil, or D canary? Oh, ang best answer is no other than fish. Kasi guys, halatang halata, fish lang ang walang dander at walang fur dyan. Kasi nasa ng fish, nasa loob lang naman ng aquarium. Hindi naman siya kayang kunin ng patient na may asthma at laruin. Okay? Pero pag may pusa ka, oh, di ba? Hahawakan mo, lalambingin mo, tapos ilalagay mo sa mukha mo, aamoy-amoyin mo, hahalik-halikan mo, which can trigger your asthma. Okay? Tapos pinasosyal lang. Pag sinabi mong gerbil, that's a kind of rodent, yung mukhang chipmunk. Okay? Rodent, may balahibo pa rin ba that can trigger asthma? Yes. And when you say canary, that's a bird. Oh, may feather. Oh, birds of a feather that can cause your asthma. Yes. So, best answer, fish. Next, number 21. Mika is suspected of having rheumatic fever. Which lab test would help confirm the diagnosis according to Nurse Lisa? A. Immunoglobulin. B. Red blood cell count. C. White blood cell count. Or D. Anti-streptolysin O titer. Ayan. Guys, the best answer is no other than anti-streptolysin O titer. Siya lang pinaka-specific dyan. Red blood cell and white blood cell, medyo general. It cannot really tell you directly kung anong klaseng disease. Pwedeng tumaas ang white blood cell kapag meron kang ongoing infection. Immunoglobulin naman, that's a kind of immunity that you give para merong immunity against a specific disease. Okay? So, pag sinabi mo kasing rheumatic fever, guys, what's the cause? The cause is your GABS infection. Your group A beta hemolytic streptococcus infection. Strep infection. That's your GABS causing your rheumatic fever. And guys, pag may GABS infection ka guys, tataas ang streptolysin O titer mo because this is a streptococcal infection. So, ang anti-streptolysin O titer, that's the kind of antibody you build against your strep infection. Kaya nga siya anti, di ba? So, pag may anti-streptolysin O titer ka na tumaas, that indicates your body was trying to fight against a strep infection, your GABS. So, delta is the best answer. Number 22. During assessment of Ito, a child with acute Kawasaki disease, which finding does Nurse Yelan expect in the acute stage? A. Cracked lips. B. Normal appearance. C. Conjunctival hyperemia. Or D. Desquamation of the skin. Guys, during acute stage of your Kawasaki disease, or also known as your vasculitis. So from the word itself, vasculitis, it can inflame your vascularities, yung mga ugat mo dyan sa katawan mo. So pag nangyari yon, vasculitis, inflammation, ano ina-expect mo sa acute state? Inflammatory signs and symptoms. So alin dyan sa choices ang inflammatory signs and symptoms? No other than your conjunctival hyperemia. Yung conjunctival hyperemia, guys, pinasosyal lang yan sa tinatawag nating red eyes. Okay, bakit red eyes? Namamaga ang vessels dyan because in the acute stage of Kawasaki disease, vasculitis yan, namamaga ang blood vessels. So, conjunctival hyperemia. Cracked lips, desquamation of the skin, as you can see, para bang dry ang tao, signs and symptoms. You find that in the subacute stage. Okay, mga dryness, signs and symptoms. But in acute, you're looking for inflammatory signs and symptoms. Next, number 23. Barbara is monitoring the intake and output of baby Lumine, who is on diuretics for heart failure. What's the most appropriate method? A. Weighing the diapers. B. Inserting a urinary catheter. C. Comparing intake and output. Or D. Measuring the amount of water added to formula. So, kung gusto mong i-measure ang intake and output, edi i-weigh mo ang diaper niya para ma-measure mo ng maayos kung ilan yung inihi ni Baby Lumin for a specific period of time. Number 24. Mika has been diagnosed with suspected aortic stenosis. Which manifestation would Nurse Dea most expect in the chart? A. Pallor. B. Hyperactivity. C. Activity intolerance. Or D. Gastrointestinal disturbances. So, pag meron kang aortic stenosis, guys, what you will experience is activity intolerance. Just remember, si aorta, that's the largest artery that rises from the left side of the heart. So, pag sinabi mong left side of the heart siya galing, no? From the left atrium to the left ventricle going to the aorta. Ganon yung circulation mo. So, pag ganon, anong nasa left side of the heart? Remember, that's your oxygenated blood. So if you have aortic stenosis or the narrowing of your aorta, because stenosis means narrowing. So pag nag-narrow yung aorta mo, anong mangyayari? So if your left ventricle is the one that produces oxygen-rich blood, then going to the aorta, pag hindi makapunta yung oxygen-rich blood sa aorta mo kasi nag-narrow nga ang aorta mo, bababa ang O2 sa body. Bababa ang O2 sa tissues. So, ngayon, yung tissues ng katawan mo, yung cells ng katawan mo, cannot do activity for longer period. You will experience activity intolerance. All because of poor circulation of oxygen to the body, brought by the narrowing of the aorta, the major vessel responsible to deliver the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. Next, number 25. Ayaka is admitting a child with rheumatic fever. What question should he ask the patient to assess its possible development? A. Has a child complained of back pain? B. Has a child complained of headaches? C. Has the child had any nausea or vomiting? Or D. Did the child have a sore throat or fever within the last 2 months? And the best answer is no other than Delta. Did the child have a sore throat or fever within the last 2 months? Guys, ano yan? Rheumatic fever. And did we say that rheumatic fever, the causative agent, is because of an infection of your GAPS, your group A, beta hemolytic streptococcus. Okay? So, yung streptococcus mo, guys, that's the one that causes your strep throat or your sore throat. So, pag nagka-sore throat yung bata mo, the past few weeks or the past few months, which can also trigger fever kasi it's an infection. This is an infectious agent that can cause an infection that can cause a fever. So, pag nagkaganon siya, that means infected siya with GABS. So, anong pwedeng maging cause pa ng GABS? Rheumatic fever. So, to assess rheumatic fever possibility, ask for a previous history of sore throat or fever within the last 2 months. Number 26. Nurse Goro is caring for a baby with heart failure. In what situation would oxygen demand increase the most? A. During sleep. B. When changing the infant's diaper. C. When the parent is holding the infant. Or B. When drawing blood for electrolyte testing. Eto guys, piliin mo sa choice kung saan magkakaroon ng increased cardiac workload ang batang may heart failure. At mangyayari yun kapag ang bata ay iiyak at magpro-protest against a painful and scary procedure, which is drawing blood for electrolyte level testing, di ba? Kapag ikaw ay mag-i-insert ng needle sa bata, okay, sa baby, will they cry because it's painful? Yes. Will they also cry because you're a stranger? Yes. So when they cry, will that increase the cardiac workload of the heart? Yes, and the baby has heart failure. Okay? So, kailan tataas ang oxygen demand? Kapag umiyak siya. sa drawing blood during electrolyte level testing. Kapag siya ay natutulog, lesser ang oxygen demand sa heart. Pag changing the infant's diaper, hindi naman yan kinoconsider ng infant as something that is foreign kasi ginagawa yan ng nanay sa kanya every day. And kapag hinohold ng parent ang infant, the infant is expected to be calmer as compared when you are drawing blood for electrolyte level testing. Number 27. Cookie Shinobu is reviewing lab findings for a child with suspected glomerulonephritis. Which parent's statement best supports diagnosis? A. The pediatrician said the kidneys are working well. B. I noticed the urine was color of cola lately. Or C. I'm so glad they didn't find any protein in the urine. Or D. The nurse who admitted my child said the blood pressure was low. Oh, pag may glomerulonephritis, which is another disease that is caused by your what? GABS infection pa rin. So si GABS, it can cause a series of diseases sa katawan ng bata. Biruin mo, it can cause sore throat. It can cause rheumatic fever. It can cause a skin condition known as impetigo. And it can cause a kidney disease known as your glomerulonephritis. Okay? So, ang best answer is no other than I noticed the urine was color of cola today. Ang makakasupport ng diagnosis ng glomerulonephritis. Kasi guys, tandaan mo kung ano ang signs and symptoms ng glomerulonephritis. You will have your colored urine or your T-colored urine. Ano pa? Elevated blood pressure. Ano pa? The patient will also experience proteinuria. The patient will also experience hematuria. Ayan. So, tandaan mo lang yung apat na yan that will present as your glomerulonephritis. So, from the word itself pa lang, nephritis. Itis will indicate inflammatory signs and symptoms on the kidneys. Nephritis. Okay? Kaya, pag inflamed ang kidneys mo, do you expect that there is injury that can cause hematuria, paglabas ng red blood cells sa urine? Yes, which is the one that can causes it to appear cola-colored or T-colored, the presence of the red blood cells. Now, because may injury ka ngayon sa kidney, will larger molecules be able to pass? Hindi na siya ma-filter ng kidney, causing your proteinuria. Yes. Okay? And then, magkakaroon ng elevated BP kasi ang batang may glomerulonephritis, hindi magkakaroon ng maayos na function ng kidney. Ang kidney niya hindi makaka-excrete ng fluids. The fluid will eventually build up in the body. Mag-a-accumulate ang fluid sa katawan, tataas ang blood pressure. So, the best answer is bravo. Number 28. A 2-year-old child is admitted with nephrotic syndrome. What sign does Nurse Sucrose recognize as most characteristic? A. Hypertension, B. Generalized edema, or C. Increased urinary output, or D. Frank bright red blood in the urine. Ayan, guys, the best answer pag nephrotic naman. The best answer is generalized edema. Sabi nga nila, pag nephrotic, the letter O, bilog din ang pasyente mo because of the massive edema caused by your massive proteinuria. So, isipin mo lang, sa nephrotic syndrome, ang problem is because your kidneys can no longer filter properly. Ang nangyayari, lumalabas ang protein sa ihi mo. You experience massive proteinuria, presence of protein in the urine. And once the protein is eliminated in the urine, bumababa ang protein sa katawan, which can cause your hypoalbuminemia. Bumaba ang albumin, which is a protein rich in the blood. Okay? Hypo, bumaba ang protein or albumin in the blood. And when that happens, ang mangyayari, bababa din ang oncotic pressure, which is the pressure that holds the fluids in the bloodstream. When there is oncotic pressure, ang fluids magsistay lang sa bloodstream. Now, pag bumaba ang oncotic pressure, because nawala na si albumin, what happens is that yung fluid, hindi na siya magsistay sa blood vessel. Pupunta na siya kung saan-saan, which is causing the massive edema in your patient with nephrotic syndrome. That's what you call your anasarca or your generalized edema. Okay, that's why that's the best answer for number 28. Number 29. Louis educating the parents of a newborn with hypospadias. Which statement by the parent shows understanding of the plan? A. I need to be cautious when straining my infant on a hip. Or B. The vital signs need to be taken daily to check for bladder infection. Or D. Catheterization will be necessary when my infant does not void. Or D. Circumcision has been delayed to save tissue for surgical repair. Okay, the best answer is no other than delta. Circumcision has been delayed to save tissue for surgical repair. Pag sinabi mong hypospadias, guys, if ito yung genitalia ng bata, no? Pag may hypospadias siya, normally, dapat nandito ang butas, nasa may glans penis. Pero pag may hypospadias siya, guys, nadidislocate yan. Nasaan ang butas? Nandito sa baba. Kaya nga, hypospadias. Mababa or nasa baba, banda. So, pag ganyan ang kanyang butas ng lagusan ng ihi, ang ginagawa ng surgeon, they delay circumcision kasi ginagamit nila ang foreskin to cover this area here. Foreskin is used during the surgery. So, delayed ang circumcision para mag-save ang tissue to surgical repair. Tapos, ililipat ang butas kung saan normally found ang butas. Okay? And last, number 30. Tignari is caring for an infant with bladder extrophy. How should he protect the exposed bladder tissue? A. Cover the bladder with petroleum jelly gauze. Or B. Cover the bladder with a non-adhering plastic wrap. Or C. Apply sterile distilled water dressings over the bladder mucosa. Or D. Keep the bladder tissue dry by covering it with dry sterile gauze. O, ganito ang itsura ng bladder extrophy. Nakalabas yung bladder mo, no? Na normally dapat nasa loob yan ng katawan mo. Kaya nga, extrophy, nag-exit ang bladder sa katawan mo, which is a congenital disease in babies. So, anong gagawin mo, guys, to protect the bladder from injury and infection and from drying? From drying, you cover the bladder with a non-adhering plastic wrap. Yan ang best answer. You don't use petroleum jelly kasi if it's made of petroleum, it has the tendency to be warm pag ma-applyan ng friction. So, pwede bang ma-warm? Can we apply heat to bladder? No, bawal yan. Kaya hindi pwede yan. And applying sterile distilled water on the dressing over the bladder mucosa, eventually, that dressing will dry. And if nag-dry, mag-adhere ang dressing na nilagay natin sa bladder can cause injury to the delicate tissue of your bladder. Keep the bladder tissue dry by covering it with dry sterile gauze, mas lalo. Pag dumikit ang dry sterile gauze sa bladder, malaking problema. It can cause injuries. So to maintain the moist area of the bladder, the natural moist area of the bladder, you use a non-adhering plastic wrap on the bladder to cover it. Okay? So that's all. Hope you learned. Bye!